Have you ever been around a situation or something and it's like, I don't get that. I don't compute with that. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. I just don't get it. I don't get why I would need to portray myself as something that I'm really not.
You're not.
Like, why would I do that? Would I do that just because I want platform, money, people's approval, people's applause? I don't need none of that. I get everything I need from God. Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to Doing Life with Ken and Tabitha. So pumped to have you guys with us today. If you are new to our podcast, please hit the subscribe button or the follow button. We want you to get fresh content as soon as it's released. And we got a good one for you today. This is actually one that I've been looking forward to for a while. We're going to talk about honesty today. Why do you think that I say that I've been looking forward to this one for a while?
Honestly. No, I don't know. Why do you say that?
Yeah. Well, I just feel like it's one of the most important attributes, especially for a believer. Even if you're not a believer yet. I'm talking about in the workplace, you're looking for honest people. Here's the acronym, HOT. And my hope is that by the end of this, I'm going to be a hot person.
Okay.
Honest, open, transparent. HOT. Those are the kind of people I want to do life with.
Absolutely.
Those are the kind of people I want to work with. Those are the kind of people I want to work for me. Those are the kind of people that I want in my friend circle. Those are the kind of people I want to surround myself with. And I'm asking God to remove people that aren't honest people. It's like I remember telling my team, and this wasn't too long ago, I said, listen, you can do anything and I'll do my best to cover you.
Right.
I'll do my best to restore you, to have you back, to have your back. I know that people are going to make mistakes. It's like my kids. I know my kids are going to make mistakes. And I say, when you make a mistake, come to me first. You don't have to run. I'll bail you out. I'll get you out. I'll help you out. I'll do all of those things. But all I ask is don't lie to me. Don't be dishonest. Because why do you think that's so important?
I don't know. You can't, without honesty, you don't have trust. And I think if you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship.
Girl, you smart. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, we don't have a relationship here. If we don't have trust, we don't have a relationship. And I cannot trust you if you're not honest with me. And I just feel like, so we're talking, the topics today, honesty, how to avoid lies, cover-ups, and living a double life. Now, let's talk about us very quickly. Do you look at me as a person? You've known me for over 25 years. We met January 14th, 1998. Okay, we've been married, oh my God, a long time.
1998, wow.
We've known each other 26, 27 years.
As Kenny would say, our son, our 14-year-old son would say, you guys met in the 1900s. You guys were alive in the 1900s.
Would you consider me an honest person?
I would. I would consider you probably very honest, maybe at times too honest.
Okay, because you said that like you were thinking of if I'm really an honest person, but you were thinking
no. Yeah.
Okay, tell me more. Why?
I think,
just let it all out there. You can just be honest with the people.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think you're very honest. And then sometimes too honest, meaning that, sometimes you don't have to tell the whole truth. Sometimes not that you have to lie, but let's say as our relationship, maybe you're just like, Tab, maybe I'm having a bad attitude and, something. And so you're going to come to me and be like, hey, Tab, you're having a bad attitude and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so I would be like, that might be too honest because A, I know I got a bad attitude. B, I'm trying to handle it. C, leave me alone. But you want a A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. And I'm like, oh, whoa, that's too much. You are taking the podcast
too much
somewhere
right
now.
That we're not even talking about today. We're not talking about, what I'm talking about is, am I an honest person?
I got it. I know. I just,
Yeah, thank you for that.
But no, the point was, yes, you are honest.
Okay, why? Why do you think, or how? Why and how?
I think Why? Because I don't know if there's, as a Christian, you don't have an option. You know, according to the commandments of God and to a Christian lifestyle, you don't have an option but to be honest.
Okay.
And when you're honest, you have to be first true to yourself and true with God before you can be true with other people. And I think being in the business that you're in, you know, not that it's business, it's ministry, but being a pastor, I mean, we've seen so many people over 18 years of ministry and ministered to so many different people that if you're not honest with yourself, I can't help you. God cannot help you unless you are honest with yourself. Tell the truth to yourself and to God. So many times people come to us, Pastor Ken, Pastor Tabitha, I need help in my marriage, but you don't want to tell me the truth about yourself. And you come in and you say, oh, but your husband is all of these bad things and you're wonderful and you do nothing wrong. Like, you know, it's not being honest in that arena, but then also just perhaps insecurities, perhaps guilt, shame, all kinds of things that keep you from telling the truth. And it's like, man, I need help and I want you to help me, but you're not being truthful. You're not being honest. So I can't really.
Okay, people, let's stop right here for a moment. Listen, if you're new to our podcast, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. We want to do life with you guys. Connect with us that way. I'm starting it off this way because I have a hard time understanding why people lie like they lie or why people aren't honest. Now, so you've already said, as someone who's lived with me over a quarter century, that you consider me to be a very honest person.
Yep.
Now, the reasons why I think that I'm an honest person is because I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. So there's a level of like confidence. Like, I'm like, good. Like, if you like me, I'm good with that. If you don't like me, I'm okay with that.
I like that.
If you like my decisions, praise God. I'm really trying to live to glorify God more than people. So this is what I don't like. I don't like trying to put a facade out to people, and that's not the real deal.
Yeah.
And so the reason I believe, and you all can tell me this in the comments, I believe that the reason that so many people connect with our podcast is because it's real. And I don't know, I feel like we live in a time where you can identify something that's fake. And because it's real, and it might not be all the time perfect or accurate or everything that people want to hear, but because it's real and it's relevant, people are like, I can handle that.
Right.
So the very essence of all that we are, everything that we've built in ministry has been off honesty. You know what I'm saying? We could have an argument and we'll probably come the next day and do a podcast about it. Yeah. Like, I have nothing to hide. I absolutely have nothing to hide. Yeah. I don't have a double life. Like, I'm preaching one thing on Sunday, but then I'm trying to hide something from my kids at home, and I don't want my kids to talk to their friends because something in our house might get out, and that wouldn't go against my character.
That's too hard. Oh my gosh.
But I'm gonna be honest. I don't understand that.
So many people live like that.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, when I say I don't understand that, have you ever been around a situation or something and it's like, I don't get that. I don't compute with that. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. I just don't get it. I don't get why I would need to portray myself as something that I'm really not.
But you're not.
Like, why would I do that? Would I do that just because I want platform, money, people's approval, people's applause? I don't need none of that. I get everything I need from God. So I'm just giving you a little bit of inkling of what I'm thinking, like why I'm saying, like, I've been looking forward to talking to this because I really want to talk to some husbands about being men of integrity and being people that are honest. I really want to talk to businessmen and businesswomen about being people of integrity and honesty. Like, I see so many people, even in the business world, they cut corners. And I don't like cutting corners. I believe if I have to cut a corner, it ain't for me. God got something better for me. And I ain't got to lie on my taxes. I ain't got to lie and cheat and steal. I can be wise. And I might even do things more aggressively. We recently got a large tax refund because I got really, really wise about how to have an LLC formed as an S corporation and the things that I could write off. But that's not wrong. It's just me knowing the tax code and hiring the right people around me. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being wise. I'm okay, but I'm not okay with lying and trying to present myself like something that I'm not. And even in the social media world, I feel like we are portraying, and I get it. Like on social media, you ain't going to put out 100% of your life. You're putting out 1% of your life.
Right.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like there's like a spirit behind it or perspective that I want people to see me like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that I feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can tell me if I'm wrong. But
Yeah. I mean, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, and I understand. I think nowadays it's people want real.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I would just imagine that people put a fake persona out there because they are insecure about themselves. They don't feel like they're good enough. Maybe they don't love themselves, because if you loved yourself, you know, you wouldn't want to put something else out there and be inauthentic. But I think people, I don't think they know that people are forgiving. You know, as long as you're real with me, you know, as long as you're honest with me, you make a mistake, you do something dumb. I mean, it's okay. You're a person. You know what I mean? I understand. You know, that's okay. I can forgive you and move on. But I can forgive anything. But what's distasteful to me is when you lie, you know, and then I have to find out that you're someone else or that you lied to me. Why would you lie about that?
We don't have a trust and we don't have relationship no more. Man, I was about to ask you something about honesty. So on the scale, it's kind of coming back to me. Here it comes. On the scale of like what a single person should look for in a spouse, how high is honesty?
What? Number two? Number one is love for God. Number two, honesty. I don't know.
It's like it
Off
falls
top
like
my
that.
Head,
Yeah,
it's high up there.
Y'all tell me, those of you all who are single, in the comments very quickly, tell us, what is that for you?
Because honesty comes with truth.
Right.
And like, so if you're going to say a wedding vow, how do I know if you've honestly taken that vow or whether you just
saying what you got to say to get what you want?
Yeah. Like,
I've seen that before.
It's everything.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, I don't know. People say, well, what are you looking for in a husband? Or what are you looking for in a wife? And people will come up with this list. Well, I'm believing for him to be 6'3", bow-legged, make six figures, and drive a small Mercedes. But I'm wondering, like, is honesty not on there?
Right.
I think you might be looking for the wrong things.
Right.
And I think that there are a lot of people who have these lists of the things that they're believing God for.
He got the Mercedes, but it ain't paid for.
He's living a lie. No, I think like honesty should, like, you got to almost scrap and rework your whole list and come up with a list. Like, I want them to love God.
Yeah.
I want our visions to align. I want them to have a same spiritual fire as I do. I want to have to beg them to tithe or beg them to come to church. I want them to be people that that are honest, that their word is their bond. If they say something, they actually mean it.
Yeah.
I just feel like those are the things that really make marriages healthy. Find somebody who's just the truth teller, you know? And so here's the problem. Now, I started off hot today because I'm very passionate about this topic, because you are most like God when you tell the truth, and you're most like the devil when you lie. Well, it's just a white lie. It's the devil. Yeah. And he's the father of lies. Yep. Notice what I just said. The scripture identifies Satan as the father of lies. So when you lie, you identify with the father of lies. You are more like him than you are like God. This is what it says about God. He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the way, the truth. He is the truth. Truth makes us free. So what you're looking for when you get into business relationships, when you do life with people, you're looking for people who walk in truth.
So good.
And they disdain the lie. We learned this back in kindergarten. But there are people today, 40, 50, 60 years old, who don't understand. We learned it back. Honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
Remember was it Abraham Lincoln that he wouldn't tell a lie? There was some kind of story
Somebody,
about
I remember
Lincoln.
that,
He wouldn't tell a lie. And Pinocchio,
and
he lied and his nose would come out.
Yeah.
My God, you're 55 years old and still don't understand. And I would rather give you the truth about me any day of the week, because then and only then can you pray for me for real, help me for real, advise me for real. I got to give you the real me.
It's true. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is there any situation that you feel like it's okay to lie? in?
First off, it's sexy that you asked me a question.
Oh,
I liked it. You usually don't do that on a podcast. Yes, ask me questions anytime.
wow.
I feel like I ask the questions around here. Okay, so is there any situation that it's okay to lie?
Mm-hmm.
Any situation that it's okay to lie?
Can I give you some examples? Or are you
You're going to let me answer the question?
Go ahead.
You asked me to answer the question.
Hey,
That's why we don't let you ask questions.
I asked you another question.
Yeah, you got to pause. You got to wait for the person to respond. I'm not going to say never.
Uh-huh.
I will say that the policy is never. However, if I was in a hostage negotiation with bin Laden and he was telling me, I would say, I'm coming at 9 a.m. knowing that I'm coming at midnight to get the hostages saved.
Uh-huh.
That was a lie to me that was called for. I know I had to go extreme, but that's how honest I like to be. Like, I'm really thinking, is there ever an okay situation to lie?
That's never going to happen.
You got a gun to somebody's head and say, okay, will you turn me in the police?
Tactics,
no, I'm not going to turn you in, but yes, I am.
in wartime, because the Bible says thou shalt not kill, but if you're going to war,
right,
there's a time where you're going to kill.
What is the difference between murder and killing?
So this is war. Yeah, murder and kill. Okay. So that you're talking about wartime tactics.
Oh, well, go ahead and give me your answer then. You wanted to.
Okay, so I didn't have an answer. I was just going to add to the question. So is it okay to lie to your kids about, Easter Bunny, Santa Claus? Is it okay to?
I don't think that's okay. So we've never lied to our kids about Santa Claus.
Is it okay to lie to your kids about where babies come from?
Never lied to our kids about where babies come from. We've never intentionally lied to our kids. Might have unintentionally lied to them.
If somebody's, says, Pastor Ken, I just believe that God's called me to be a singer and I have a gift for the Lord and let me sing this song for you, and they sound terrible. Is it okay to lie and just tell them?
You already know. And that's where you started off this podcast, that I'm going to be brutally honest. In love. It's the truth in love. It's like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you are? I think I'm at a 9. Hey, do you mind if I tell you tell you what I think? I think you're at like a 3.
What about if I have on an outfit that I'm just like, baby, look at me, I look good, and I really don't?
Well, it just depends. If I might say, okay, cool, all right.
But you didn't lie.
I didn't lie.
You just.
You gotta be careful with that, because sometimes deflections can be lies, but sometimes that's wise too. Like, okay. But if you say, hey, how do I look? I'm going to tell you the truth, but I'm going to tell it to you in love.
Right.
In love means I'm checking out my tone and I'm using wisdom. Sweetheart, I think you're the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen. It doesn't matter what dress you wear. I sound like a politician. Like, I'm literally like just saying, like almost, I didn't answer the question. I deflected the question.
Well, here's the thing I say, because some people, I think believers, we don't know how to be honest because we get in these situations where somebody asks you a question that either A, they probably shouldn't ask you. It's too much information. So you have the right to decline the question. I don't feel like I want to answer that. That's something that's private. I don't want to answer that right now. So, pardon me. Or, you feel like, I can't tell them the truth because the truth is too much. Well, instead of lying, you can always say, like, where do babies come from? Well, God makes babies. That's all they need to know. You don't have to give another question. But how did it get in the belly? Well, it came, it grows in mommy's tummy, mommies and daddies.
And you didn't have to get into the details.
You don't have to get into any details.
You don't have to talk about eggs and sperms and.
Yeah, you don't have to do any of that.
You don't have to. Yeah, you
as
talk.
they grow and mature, you mature the information.
Yeah.
So.
This is the thing. I think that there are a lot of people. They get into relationships and they start off lying, and then they got to keep building it from there. And years later, it comes out and it's more hurtful because you just wasn't truthful from the beginning.
Wow.
There was a couple of things that came out years later in our marriage that you had told me a truth that wasn't completely true, and it hurt. It really hurt, like years later, just the fact that you didn't tell me the truth in the beginning from a direct question. Now, you wasn't saved, you know what I'm saying, and you were deflecting some information, but that hurt, So I would rather, now, the truth that you did tell me, you told me I'm battling depression, which was a hard truth for you to give me when we were first dating, because what you're saying is that I'm risking this information to you, and you might judge me incorrectly but I'm going to trust you enough to have this private peace. So actually, when you tell me the truth, you honor me, because you put now the power in my hands to be able to judge, not judge, love or not love.
Right.
And so when you told me the truth that you battled depression, I leaned in and said, how can we fight this together?
Right.
If you lied to me and then 10 years later and our marriage sucked and now I figure out you've been battling depression, it's like when you smoke cigarettes, but you lied to me.
Yeah.
I mean, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it comes out years later that you were smoking cigarettes.
Well, I never lied to you.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't tell you that I did.
I think it all falls under honesty.
It's all lying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But this is what people do. They're like, oh, well, I never lied. Well, you did, because you put yourself.
You painted a picture.
You withheld the truth. Withholding the truth is
painted
also
a
a lie.
Yeah.
So. But we're talking about honesty. That all comes under honesty.
I don't know. And I understand that on your first date, you don't want to say, hey, this is everything I've ever done. This is everybody I've ever been with. This is everything you need to know about me. Okay.
Right.
Oh my God. Like we're going to Shoney's right now. You remember Shoney's?
How'd that come up?
If you know where Shoney's is, please let us know in the comments.
Does it exist anymore?
It's an old school restaurant.
Wow.
It does in some rural places in America, I'm sure. But maybe after we start getting to where this is pretty serious relationship, you need to start before you say I do. Before most of everything you are needs to start coming out to see if this person can choose to love you in spite of who you are. That's what I believe. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Or is there some things that in the premarital state, like, oh, we need to keep that?
Ooh, no. I need to know who I'm marrying.
Yeah.
I need to know. Yeah, we need to know it all. And that's why premarital counseling is so healthy, because you will explore those things together.
Yeah.
And your counselors will pull out things that need to be addressed.
I think it's fear. I think people have a fear of telling the truth. But if you don't tell the truth, it's going to come out worse later on.
I also think that some people have things that they have not dealt with themselves and don't want to deal with. And therefore, they're just going to ignore it. But we understand that trauma, anything emotionally that you do not deal with is going to come up at one point.
Yeah.
So then you get married, and you're married for a year, and then here it comes. And now you got to deal with it.
And so here's some thoughts. Honesty builds trust. Honesty builds trust. Trust builds great relationships. Whenever you see a team that's struggling, you can go back. There's teammates that don't trust each other. Whenever you see a team, like a sports team struggling, trust. Honesty builds trust. Honesty creates emotional intimacy. The more that you're honest with a person, the closer you're going to feel to that person, because you know you're getting the real them. Honesty helps solve problems, not hide them. And that's why the scripture teaches us to confess our faults one to another, James chapter 5, verse 6. So what I think that it means, it's easy to confess your wins to each other, to confess your positive attributes to one another. But it says to confess your faults one to another and pray for each other, and you'll be healed. Healing comes on the other side of honesty. God honors integrity. He always have, always will. Proverbs says in chapter 12, verse 22, the Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in those who tell the truth. Wow. So God actually detests the lying lips, but he honors those who tells the truth. And dishonesty damages more than the moment. Hiding or twisting the truth may feel like protecting someone, but it builds a wall. Even small lies are like micro fractures into trust. Over time, those cracks turn into chasms. Yeah. And so it's very important. And you got to be honest enough to say, I respect you enough to be real with you. I love you enough to speak the truth, even when it's hard. I trust God enough to handle whatever comes about when I stop hiding. But I don't know. I'm at a space in my life at 47 that I want to surround myself with real honest people. And they can do whatever. I don't expect them to be perfect. I'm going to walk with them through dark moments, challenging moments, up moments, down moments. But please, 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 just be real with me. Right. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in a place in my life, too, where I want to be honest, number one, with myself. When I go to bed at night, lay my head on the pillow, I want to know that I was honest with the world. I was honest with God, number one. And I'm not lying to God. I'm not living this false life, that I'm honoring my commitment to God, to my husband, my children, the ministry, I mean, everything. And so that's a big deal to me.
All right, answer this for me. Would you rather suffer a loss or tell the truth? Or would you tell the truth, here's a better way to say it, if you suffered a loss?
Yes.
You would rather tell the truth.
I'd rather tell the truth, and it'd be an honor to suffer the loss if it takes telling the
truth. Do you really mean that, though? Do you have an example of when you've done that?
You know, I don't really have an answer to like if there was like a lie or something, but in situations, let's just take relationships, maybe relationships with difficult people, or maybe I'm trying to get a job, you know what I mean? And if I just put this little lie on my resume, you know what I mean, they'll accept it.
And you would rather lose the job than lie.
Right. Taxes. If I just make it look like this, well then no, I'd rather be honest and lose the deduction.
Lose the money than lie.
Yeah, like if I have relationships with family members, well they just want me to compromise a little bit and just do this for them, but I would rather lose their respect. I'd rather lose their like okay, they're not going to invite me to the family meetings. They don't like me, or the family reunions. They don't like me. I'd rather lose that and keep my honesty with God.
That's good. That's good. So good.
Yeah, those situations.
Here's a few things that I want you guys to hear, all right? Now, if you're new to our podcast, hit the subscribe button real quickly. You like what we're sharing with you. We want you to be the first to get the content. Hit the follow button. We got a lot of products, some books, boot camps that we have. You can go over to kenandtabitha.com and check those things out. But here's a few things that I would share just to build like a little bit more of a biblical foundation. God hates lying. Proverbs 6:16, it says, there are 6 things the Lord hates. A lying tongue is one of those things. Lies actually separate us from God.
Wow.
Psalms 101 and verse 7, it says, no one who practices deceit shall dwell in my house. No one who utters lies shall continue before my eyes. People think, oh, it's just a little white lie. No, this is serious stuff here. You are in partnership with Satan. Lying is the language of the enemy. John 8:44 says, when he lies, he speaks of his own native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies.
That sticks with me. Lying is the language of the enemy. And that's something that I think we should teach our children. You know, we teach our children not to lie. But why do we teach them that? Let's base it in the Bible, because lying isn't what we do. You know, I tell our kids, we're claters. We don't lie. We don't tell lies. We always tell the truth, even if it doesn't feel good.
Right.
We're going to tell the truth, and we tell the truth in love.
And our children will get in more severe punishment if they lie.
Right.
So right now, I think we're doing pretty good with them not lying.
Right.
You know, we'll come down, hey, son, did you take a shower? Nah, I mean, it's just going to be the truth. It's just going to be the truth. Like, he easily, yeah, I did, you know. I'll try to turn the, nah. You know, what did you say the other day? He had yogurt on his pants. You don't wear the same pants for 3 days straight. Have you worn the same pants? Yeah. It's not going to be a lie. It's going to be the truth. It ain't going to be what you want to hear. And he's going to get in trouble, but not kind of trouble if you lie.
Right.
You try to make something up. So anyway, so I wanted to kind of end with these 5 things to help you grow in honesty. And I believe that these are going to be good for married people, single people, people in business, people in ministry, whoever you are. I pray an honest spirit over you in Jesus' name. Number 1, you got to get honest with yourself first. I think you talked about that.
Yes.
Psalm 139 and 23, it says, search me, O God, and know my heart. See if there's any offensive way in me. So the first thing you got to do is you got to get honest with you. Okay? You got to get honest with you. Number 2 would be to speak the truth in love. Okay? Speaking the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, Ephesians 4 and 15. That doesn't mean that we're harsh. It just means that we cover everything we do in love, but I'm going to speak the truth in love.
Right.
Jump in whenever you want to.
Absolutely.
Number 3 is let go of the fear of rejection. The fear of man will prove to be a snare. Whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe, Proverbs 29:25. Many people lie or hide because they fear losing approval. Okay. Number 4, practice small acts of honesty daily. Be truthful in small things. Return the extra change. Correct the half-true. I love to do that. Somebody giving me too much money in the store, I'm not like, oh, the Lord is blessing. No, I'm taking it back. As much as I possibly can.
This was such a blessing for me to do. Just recently, you were in the car with me. We had some landscaping done. We had to get some things fixed in our yard. And I sent in the bill, and it was $1,000 under what I was calculating in my mind. And I thought, oh, this is a blessing. I thought it was going to be more. But then I looked at it again, and I saw the math that the guy did, or landscaper did, and he just simple math, you know, and just was off by $1,000. And so I texted him back, and man, he was like, I am so grateful. Oh my gosh, you're a good person. Thank you for doing that. And this just blessed him so much. Like, I won so much more that day in his, maybe he knows who I am. He knows I'm a believer, you know what I mean? Let alone a pastor. He knows I'm a believer. But that was such a reward. That was more than the $1,000.
Yeah. And I remember you doing the math and you were going back, this can't be right. This can't be right. There was not one thought that let's keep the money. We messed up. It was like, hey, if that brother undercharged us, go ask him. In my comment, what did I say? I said, go ask him, did he do that on purpose? Because if not, we owe him $1,000.
Right.
Now, if he said, well, I just wanted to bless you, I mean, oh, praise God. But if not, I want to give you your $1,000.
Right.
You did a great job, and I want to make sure that I don't take something that belongs to you.
Right.
That is a great example of honesty.
It would have cost me
is.
more than $1,000 if I had taken that man's $1,000, because you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Number 5 is invite accountability and safe conversations. And we kind of talked about confessing your faults one to another. But that's why having a church is important. Being a part of community in that church, small groups, teams is important. Getting to know the leadership, the other pastors in that church, having friends that you can really confide in.
Yeah.
All of these things are very, very, very important. And so honesty is always going to be the best policy. And I believe if you really work these principles that we gave you today, you're going to see great success spiritually, emotionally, even financially, by just being a truth-filled person. Well, we're out of time for today. I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast and that we brought a value to your life. You know, that's our only goal. We want to just do life with you. We don't have all the answers. We're searching, we're growing just like you are, but we want to share our lives, what's working for us and even what isn't working for us, so you can pick out some things of what to do and not to do. If you're new to our podcast, man, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button so you can be the first to get the new content when it's released. We drop a new episode every Thursday at 3 p.m. We would love for you to be a part of the Doing Life with Ken and Tabitha world. We have a vision to reach 1 million couples around the world. And if this has been good to you, the best thing you could do is share it with somebody else. We believe that sharing is caring. So if you could just take a moment, text this podcast to someone, share it on your social media, write us a review, share your testimony with us. I know that you're growing. I know that God is moving in your life. We want to pray for you and we want to cheer you on. If you're ever in Florida, come worship with us at a live church. You can come. Of course, we have a live conference that's coming up real soon. It's coming up in November. For more information about this year's conference, in person, encounter with God, those 3 days could change the next 30 years of your life. You want to be in the place, fly in. People are coming from around the world. We would love to see you here. More information is in the link in the show notes below. Just know that you're not alone. We love you. We're also praying for you, and we'll see you real soon. Peace.